and the ANC is going to be desperate to look for alternative sources of funding.
Please go check out rebelstoreza.com. Their winter range is now available. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Real Moments. Real Moments are sections from longer interviews done on my channel that I think you guys might find interesting. Your Real Moment is in. What is South Africa facing? What is the biggest risk South Africa is facing at the moment? Let me put it that way.
Well, take your pick, Joe. There are quite a few risks. But I think there's an underlying theme that has emerged, particularly in the last few months, and we're trying to drive this home to our clients, which is that there is a threat to the systemic foundations of the property rights framework in South Africa. And what that means is that, you'll be well familiar with the debates that are raging around expropriation without compensation. There's two parallel processes happening there. There's the constitutional amendment, and then that's to Section 25, the Property Rights Clause, and then also the EWC bill as well, which will seek to bring about legislative changes, which is a lot easier to pass, by the way. That's a 50% threshold. But I think when you look at the reporting around this, I think it's been very misleading in the sense that many mainstream analysts are saying, well, look, this is a debate that's confined to questions around land and equitable ownership and distribution of land. But what we are trying to convey to our clients is that this threat to property rights extends well beyond land. And you can join the dots across kind of various sectors of society and the economy. So if you look, for example, at national health insurance, what is that really about? Is that about extending healthcare financing to the poor? We don't think so. That, I think, is a concerted move to target private healthcare funds. And we've seen members of government regulatory bodies, saying that, they want to take over some of these funds, and organizations like Discovery saying, well, wait, hang on, where does this come from? We won't allow this to happen. But we've been warning about this for quite a long time, that the threat to private property rights doesn't just end with property, with land. It extends to other forms of incorporeal assets like intellectual property, for example. There have been rumblings for many years since the Nasrec conference in 2017, where Mr. Ramaphosa was elected president of the ANC.
While I have you here, why don't you please go down in the description below and check out Support My Channel, where you can support me for as little as 40 Rand a month. And also you get some perks, but you got to use the Quicket link to get access to these perks. Again, links in the description below. And don't forget, subscribing is always free.
For prescribed assets, which is a move on private pension funds. And, so I think that there is a general tendency and a broader trend of the government running out of money. So the broader context is that our fiscal situation, so the difference between revenue and expenditure, that fiscal deficit has exploded. And that's largely as a consequence of the government's overspending habit. It spends more than it generates in terms of revenue. And even pre-COVID, those deficits were at very high levels, about 6-7%. And now, during COVID, it was about 14-15%. Now it's back down to projected about 8 or 9%. But that's still higher than that deficit has been at the end of the apartheid era, during the divestment campaigns and the states of emergency. It was higher than during both world wars. So the government is spending well beyond its means. And if you look at every level of government, from national down to provincial down to municipal, the ANC has essentially created a vast patronage distribution machine. And that is about access to resources and rents, what political scientists would call rent-seeking behavior, where local politicians, power brokers are able to use their access to state resources to leverage influence within the party and to accumulate power and resources themselves and for their cronies. And those taps are running dry, and the ANC is going to be desperate to look for alternative sources of funding. And there are large pools of capital in South Africa. It's one of the interesting things about studying South Africa is that it's a very sophisticated economy in many respects. You have about 4 trillion rands worth of privately held assets in terms of private pension funds. The healthcare savings are also enormous. And so the government, I think, is eyeing these funds just as alternative sources of funding. And often the language of it is couched in, well, we need a social compact around this. We need social inclusion. And so we're going to put pressure on these private holders of capital. But that's not money that is just held communally by the state. That is individuals like you and I who have invested our hard-earned rands in those funds, whether it's your pension fund or your healthcare insurance. And I think that this is a red flag, and that we urge our clients to pay very careful attention to it.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, was your real moment. I really hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, please feel free to share it with your friends, family, or whoever you think might find it interesting. Give the video a like. It goes a long way to supporting the channel and helping it grow. And this is your second reminder to please subscribe to my channel. I've got a lot more content coming your way. And please go check out the Telegram channel. It's a channel, not a group. You just get notified of all the upcoming uploads and live streams on this channel. And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, stay safe, be kind to one another, and I'll see you at the next one. Cheers.